A few years ago, back when I was still working as a real estate agent, something unfolded that I could never have seen coming. Without realizing it, I helped secure an apartment for the very man my wife was secretly involved with. At the time, I had no idea who he was. He came across as just another quiet, respectful client. This all took place before the pandemic began. I was still working from a traditional office then, managing property listings and meeting prospective buyers as usual. One afternoon, a reserved man walked in, inquiring about a small studio apartment. He was soft-spoken, well-mannered, and didn't raise any suspicions. We had a smooth interaction, and I eventually found him a decent unit, even managing to negotiate a good deal on his behalf. I assumed that was the end of our professional exchange. Months later, early this year in fact, a casual acquaintance mentioned seeing my wife exiting that very apartment building with a man. They were walking closely, arms intertwined. A short while later, the same person saw them again, this time carrying grocery bags together. Initially, I laughed it off. It seemed absurd. My wife was always claiming to be swamped with work, constantly busy and always in a hurry. It just didn't add up. But then a memory surfaced, something I had brushed off at the time. When the pandemic struck, she told me her company had shifted to remote work. Nothing unusual there. But despite that, she kept dressing for the office and leaving the house every morning as if nothing had changed. That's when the pieces stopped fitting together. Something inside me wouldn't settle, so I did something I had never done before. I looked up her company's contact information and made a call. A kind woman picked up and answered my questions, and what she told me completely shattered my understanding of what was going on. Apparently, the company had shut down nearly a year ago. They had gone out of business and laid off the entire staff due to financial losses. My wife hadn't worked there in months. That evening, I confronted her. I didn't shout or raise my voice. I just laid the facts out and calmly asked for honesty. Her reaction floored me. She didn't yell. She didn't try to deny it. She simply looked me in the eye and admitted everything. She'd been involved with someone else for over a year. It felt like the ground beneath me had given way. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I held myself together for the sake of our son. I asked her how she had managed to fake it so well, day after day, coming and going as though nothing was wrong. Her response was so casual, it didn't even feel real. "What's changed at home?" she asked, without a trace of emotion. I was stunned. But in a twisted way, she had a point. Dinner was still made. The fridge stayed stocked. She continued spending evenings with us like always. But that didn't make her betrayal any less cruel. She claimed she had found a better position elsewhere, and with it, something new and thrilling. She said she'd grown tired of routine, wanted excitement. But she insisted she was still fulfilling her roles as a wife and mother, and for her, that was justification enough. According to her, there was no reason to upset the balance. Then she walked out of the room like it was just another Tuesday. I couldn't accept it. I followed her, told her point blank that this wasn't something we could simply move past. I couldn't keep living a lie, not even for the sake of our son. This wasn't just about infidelity. It was about self-respect, about mental stability, about truth. People around me had noticed things. Friends had seen her. If I said nothing, I'd be surrendering to humiliation. We stayed up for hours that night talking. Eventually, we both came to terms with what we already knew. Our marriage was done. We agreed to separate. For the time being, our son would stay with her, and I would move out. We told him it was just a disagreement, something temporary, until we could figure out how to explain the real story. As expected, things didn't go smoothly for her once I was gone. All the responsibilities I used to handle, especially when it came to our son's routine, fell entirely on her shoulders. Soon, he began telling me how stressed she was all the time, always behind, always overwhelmed. Though she was now home all day, she couldn't manage her time or keep things running. Her new relationship began to unravel too. The man she left me for started drifting away. Their meetings became less frequent, and he eventually lost interest. One day, my son asked to come live with me. He said I understood him better, that I made life more stable. It didn't take long for that change to happen. Not long after, I learned she had taken out a huge loan just to support that same man. She had bought him the very apartment I had unknowingly helped him find. The irony was sharp and bitter. In the end, she was left alone to deal with the mess. Drowning in financial burden, stuck in a chaotic life she had chosen but couldn't control. It felt like fate had handed her exactly what she had earned.